All right, this is for Héctor Mtz from Facebook. Okay, so the big thing I would say right off the bat is that you really want to work on anatomy. Um, and I would play with the composition a little bit more. What I would do, let's go through the anatomy first. Okay, so if you're looking at this, the way this character is kind of built, you see the hat is a little bit crooked because if this is the center line of your character here, this would go a little bit like this, and even if it's tilted a little bit, it's still a little bit off. So that would be the first thing that I would move is I would move the hat, and then you want to build out the neck like so, and from there you have the shoulder, and then you'd probably give her a little bit more of a hunchback, kind of loop it around, and then something like this, which basically leads the center line here, and then that kind of leads the breasts, and even if they're saggy a little bit and stuff um, like something like that. So, and then the hips twisting down are going to kind of widen out a little bit. So that's the first thing, and then putting the shoulder. This is hunched down. So I would put this over here, which gives you this, and the foreshortening on this is good, um, but I would exaggerate it a little bit more raised outward and stuff like that. And then you can see this here is part of the problem too, where what you're doing is looking at proportions, and this would be a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. Um, in proportion wise. And then when you're bending your arm like this, there's um, a lot more angle on it. All right, and also you want to bring it forward too, so it's more like that. So that's the first thing that I would take care of. And then since you really don't have background foreground here, what I would do, and here's the things I would do. Um, I would exaggerate this. So I would take this, and I'm just going to really quickly kind of grab this and push this forward, and it's a better silhouette if it's a little bit awkward like that. And then what I would do is I'd fix the hat. And just noticing something. When you're filling in strokes and stuff like that, um, when you're filling in strokes, let me just show you here. You can see that these you're filling them in this way, and so you probably want to fill them in the other way, and I'll show you why. Just let me cut this out and transform and rotate and move, and then this hand here. I'm just gonna grab this whole arm here. And let's cut this one off, and let's move this down and around, and then let's transform it like so. All right, so in the end, let's kind of paint this like so, and I'm just going to paint over this. And what you want to do is this stick right here, what I would say is if you've got a cauldron, have her interacting with it. So this is just my personal thing. is, you know, get more interaction in the scene. Because for years I just drew that standard, you know, everyday character that, you know, doesn't really do anything. And so what I would say is let's add in that stick, and then you can, you know, add in things like that. So that stick has quite a bit to do. And then we're just going to kind of paint this here like so. I could probably even cut this off, and that basically gives me that aspect. I'm just going to finish cleaning up this real quick here. Okay, so once I've got that in there, you can see how this versus this makes a little bit more sense. I can probably even transform this to, I just want to center that, so something like that. And I think that gives you a much better composition. Now, the other thing too is you might want to take this hand and transform it a little bit more over like this, and that's going to layer things a little bit more. So, and again, I really like, I like the work that you did on the eyeballs and stuff, and I just would tell you to kind of like push that forward. So we're just going to kind of, all right, so you can see now it's a lot more layered, and I would almost even go in here and, you know, push that in there like that, and that gives you, you know, that aspect. Now when you're painting, I can see you're doing you've got these brush strokes and you're using a round brush, which is fine, but if you round them out and then what you do is you define them with harder edges like so, you're going to get a lot more shape and a lot more form versus the rounded kind of flat look. And let's just, okay, now because you don't have very much atmospheric perspective in there, what you want to do, and I'm just gonna, oops, destroyed my stick. Alright, so what you want to do is, after that stage is done, what you're going to do is start adding light. So if this is magical, you're going to grab this, and actually before I do that, this is another thought I had. So you've got your character here, and what I would do is, let's just create a new layer here, and you've got these hanging breasts. Now what I would do is kind of make it a little bit more sexier, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna put this here, and then let's erase and erase. Okay, go back, and so and you can make the breast look a lot saggier here, like so. But you want to get that sense that she was beautiful and she no longer is. And I would even trim some of this down. So something like that. And then diagonal these two. So this one is, let's do, keep the gravity going here. So I would, And because this is kind of stretching, I would basically keep it going here. And then same thing over here. This is probably going to go off screen here. And let's clone that in. Okay, so, you know, and then I probably would trim it a little bit, crop the composition. And the reason I would crop it is because it balances it, I think, better. You've got much more of this angle going on. So then what I would do is pick your light color here and then start building that light color up. And that's going to give you a lot more depth, a lot more interest. And then you want to get some underlight. So you're going to get a rim light here. You're going to get some shadow here. This is going to be lit. You're going to get some of that chest light going on. So really what you want to do is you want to get some references. Let's black this out. So you really want to get some references for underside, so that's going to change your lighting a little bit. And it's, I think, going to give you a much more dramatic lighting. You know, I would darken this up. It's going to give you the dark on your nose, the dark on your chin, and I think that's really going to sell your picture a lot more. Like so. Let's put a little on the skin and some definitely on the shine of the belt. And be exaggerative. You know, you've got these little bubbles. Put a couple big ones in there. You know, and then if you've got some white, just a hair of light, just kind of pop that in there, and that's going to help you out as well. And then if you want to go and put in a little bit more darks, so this is going to change the whole dark aspect here. And then that gives you this blue light now. That changes your lighting up. And you see how just adding this let's say a little bit brighter. You know, something like that. And of course you want reference, but that gives you like a much more dramatic tone to it, and I think that'll help push your aspect. And then you can take this blue light and kind of push this cool lights on the back of the character and on the top of the eyes and anything, you know, things like that, and that'll give you this nice extra rim light on this aspect too. So you'll have two lighting sources, and then to I mean, almost push that aspect of the. So what I would do is I would probably go with something like, let's go multiply. So, oops, wrong layer. This is what I want to do. Alright, so do you see here? And then you can pick the real bright yellows from up like this. Oops. As that's your fire. And so that'll help push your. Let me undo that real quick. Let me just do a circle radius one. Alright. So that'll give it like that the cauldron's underneath and burning, and that'll give you it'll split your tertiary lights up, but it'll add in a little bit of tone and value here. and kind of blend the two lights together. So that'll kind of help you with your composition a little bit, I think. So basically, from here to this, like so. And then the other thing I would do is, since you're pushing those two light values, get a better core shadow in here, and that'll emphasize the darkness more on that character. So basically from here to here. So the anatomy is the first thing. Get that right, get reference. And even if you have to dress your mom up, do it. And then basically start getting the lighting in. And if you can get photography and get the lighting in already, it'll save you a lot of time. So, all right, I hope that helps.